Um, First video of the new year, and it is already the 13th of January. How appalling is that? Can you let me know that you can see and hear me? Just comment in the chat box below, or wherever you're watching this video. Let me know that you can see or hear me, and let me know if you're watching live or replay. So hashtag live or hashtag replay. Right. Hopefully you can hear or see me. Let's talk about relationships first and sales second. I had a horrific, and I mean absolutely horrific experience. It was on Tuesday. It's now Thursday for those who are watching the replay. I had a horrific experience on Tuesday. I phoned someone up, or someone phoned me. I booked a call with someone, and I was very interested in purchasing their services and getting some support. It's something that I've been thinking about for a couple of years. They've been on my radar for a couple of years, and they had also worked with my friend. And when I had a conversation with them, we had a really great half an hour conversation. And at the end of it, I said, great, I think I want to move forward. I already knew I wanted to move forward. I'd made that decision. But I said, I want to think about it for 24 hours. Now, I've never done this before. I normally make decisions like that and I part with money. The amount of money that she was asking for was just under £10,000 by a couple of quid. I said, I want to think about it for 24 hours. Now, the reason I did this is because most of my clients, my prospects, before they buy from me, always say, I'll let you know tomorrow, or let me think about it, or yes, I want to sign up, send me through the details. I never take credit card details right there and then. And there's a reason for that. And that is because I would like relationships with my clients to be very solid. I don't want buyer's remorse. I don't want to get money from someone immediately so that the following day they're like, oh, they really forced me into buying and now I have buyer's remorse. So we want to eliminate buyer's remorse. And what happened on Tuesday was this lady was no way going to let me think about it for 24 hours. So I said to her, I want to think about it for 24 hours. And she said, well, how do you feel if we split the payments in two? And I was like, no. I do want to sign up, but I'll let you know tomorrow one way or another. I promise I will let you know, because nothing is worse than waiting for someone to get back. So I gave myself a 24-hour window and I was going to let her know the following morning. She said, how about if we split it in two? I was like, no, you're fine. Thank you very much. Then she said, how about if we split it in three? And I'm like, no, you're fine. Thank you very much. And she kept offering me these different ways to sign up. And the one that really got my goat, it really did get my goat actually. She said, well, why don't you give us £1,000 now? And then if you don't want to be with us tomorrow, we'll give you your money back. However, nobody has ever asked for their money back when they've done this. And they were pushing and pushing and pushing. And I was just, in the end, I was like, do you know what? No. And she said, okay, well, if you don't buy now, then you can't sign up from us. And I said, that's absolutely fine. Thank you for your time. Goodbye. And we both said our goodbyes. Then half an hour later, I got an email offering me a 50% discount if I signed up the following day. So I'd had this conversation with her. She tried all these sales tactics. I still said no. Then she sent me an email going, I've spoken to the boss and she said that you can have a 50% discount. And I was like, whoa, that's bad. And I haven't responded to the email actually. Maybe I should do that because I hate leaving loops open. It's not fair on the seller either. And it was very clear that this person was getting paid commission. It was very clear that it was not about me in this conversation. It was never about, was I a good fit? Were we going to get the results? Can they help me? It was about, she had to make the sale. She had to hit her targets. She had to get the person across the line who was on the call. Now, this is something that I want to talk to you about. Relationships first and sales second. How many of you, and let me know in the chat box if you're watching this live, how many of you are spending your life going, oh my God, somebody else has messaged me on LinkedIn. Oh, somebody else has messaged me on Facebook. Oh my God, they're trying to sell me something. My inbox is full of marketers trying to sell me marketing. My inbox is full of people trying to sell me something. How many of you feel that way? Just comment in the chat box and say, yeah, I am sick to death of it. I'm fed up with it, because I am. I get people trying to sell to me all the time. And it means that they haven't looked at my profile either, because I have a good business and they come to me and they send me messages and they're like, oh, would you like to make 10 grand a month? And I'm just like, like you clearly don't see what we do as a business. And it really frustrates me. It really drives me nuts. And we're done, aren't we? As an accounting firm owner, as a bookkeeping firm owner, or as a service provider, you're done. You're fed up with people selling to you. So if you're fed up with people selling to you, then people are going to be fed up with you selling to them. It's all the way. Bombarded. LinkedIn is the worst. Yeah, absolutely. So what do we do about it? Well, we still want to build relationships. We can't say, I'm not going to do marketing. I'm not going to reach out to people. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. We can't say that because the world has to continue turning and we still have to build relationships with people. So it's relationships first and sales second. So then the question that comes up is, how do we build these relationships, Amanda? You know, I can send a message saying, do you want to buy my stuff? But how do I start a conversation with people? How do I build relationships with people? Now, the thing is, right, is there's three kind of relationships that we need to be thinking about when we're like going out there and saying, right, I want to get more clients, yes, but the world is built on how people feel and how we make people feel. So there's three kinds of relationships that we have to build. The first are client relationships. Okay, so if you have clients already, your job isn't to go out there and make new relationships with people and go, oh, I'm going to put all my energy into new relationships. You have to look after the clients you have. It's something like 10 times easier to keep a client than it is to get a new client. So the first relationship we have to make sure that we have really solidified is our client relationship. It's not how do we get more clients, it's how do we keep the clients we have. We want a low churn rate. And a churn rate is how many clients we lose on a monthly basis or a yearly basis compared to how many clients we onboard. Okay, so we want a very low churn rate in our business, and we'll know if that churn rate is high or low. We'll know how great relationships are and how great our offer is. All right, so the first thing I want you to think about is how can you build better relationships with your clients, okay? If you have a good relationship with your clients, they will refer and recommend you. And that's key, isn't it? The easiest way to get a good client is to have a good client refer you. So you don't want bad clients referring you because they tend to hang out with people like them, but good clients also tend to hang out with people like them. So you want good clients referring you. Then we need to think about, okay, what about relationships with prospects? So prospect relationships are the people who are watching you on LinkedIn, watching you on Facebook. They're people who are hanging out in your world and might be on your database. They might come to your webinars. How do you build relationships with them? And that is actually about getting to know people's names. You don't have to know everything about them. Like there are people who I have a great relationship with that I don't know everything about them, but I know their names. I know when they've been to my webinars a few times. I call out when people come to my webinars. I'm like, hey, great to see you again, Kim. Hey, great to see you again, Sarah. You know, because I know that these people are turning up to my trainings on a regular basis. Now, these are prospects, not clients, okay? But I make a point of getting to know my prospects and building a relationship. And when I do have conversations in the inbox, when I do speak to people on LinkedIn, when I do speak to people on Facebook, it's actually done with care about the people that I talk to. And this is what I want you to think about. If you were to stand in front of someone and have a conversation with them, what would you say? How are you? How are things? How are you coping? What's going on? What are you up to at the moment? Would love to have a conversation. Let's have a catch up when it's not so busy, all that kind of thing, okay? Those conversations we then take into our messaging because it's exactly the same way. When you are having conversations with people through LinkedIn or through Facebook, just think about it being a face-to-face conversation. Then you're not going to say, oh, I've got this product, do you want to buy it? All right. So when we're looking at prospects, it's about relationships. Get to know people's name, get to understand their pains, get to understand where they're at. Not everybody in the buying cycle is ready to buy now. Very few people are ready to buy now. So if you focus on relationships first, the compound effect will kick in the more relationships you build. Okay. So we've got client relationships and prospect relationships. And then there's a third relationship that can really, really help your success. And that is your network. And your network And predominantly, if you can network with people that also have the same kind of clients that you have, remember, this is all about client generating relationships, okay? If you can network with people that have the same kind of clients that you have and build those relationships, you're going to get more referrals, you're going to get more opportunities. People are going to come to you and say, hey, would you like to be on my podcast? Which in turn gets you in front of more people and gives you the opportunity to start more relationships with prospects. And you might find that you get more, the more your network grows, the more opportunities you get from your network. It's as simple. And you have to nurture these relationships. So one of the things that we do in our Get Clients Now program is teach you how to build JV partners, how to nurture relationships over time rather than just say, hey, buy my stuff. Those are key things that you need when it comes to getting clients. I wish it was 4 years ago, because that was like money was raining from the sky 4 years ago when you were messaging people. You could really make a lot of money because the inboxes were not full of people trying to sell. But now that's a saturated way of going out and getting clients. So we need to build relationships because nobody can replace relationships. All right. So let me think, or let me know, do you build relationships? What do you struggle with when it comes to building relationships? Where do you struggle with that? And if there was some support that you could have around relationship building, what kind of questions would you be asking? And please feel free to ask me those questions. Something very exciting is happening this year. My podcast is starting. So whilst today I'm talking to you on video, I am going to be talking about all these kind of things on a podcast. And the podcasts are going to be sort of 15, 20 minutes long. And I'm going to be answering your questions. So give me a question around building relationships, anything that you struggle with. I'll answer it on the podcast. I'll let you know when it's live. It'll be coming out in the next few weeks, but it is something that is really, really close to my heart. And hey, guess what? Podcasts help you build relationships with people, because the more you listen to me, you get to know, like, and trust me, or not, as the case may be. But webinars, podcasts, Facebook groups, going live, all of these things where you are actually listening to someone and getting to know them and seeing if you like their values and seeing if you like what they have to say. It's relationship building. This enables me to build relationships one to many, and then I hone in on my relationships when we have conversations in social media, or when we have conversations on the phone, or when you come into my webinars. We tend to have a lot of conversations that way as well. But it's relationships first, sales second. You'll get the sales if you build the relationships. So many people focus on, I must make this many sales. How about I must deepen this many relationships? Okay. All right. I'll catch up with you all soon. Have an amazing day. And I will let you know more about the podcast and when it goes live. But if you've got any questions that you would like answered, let me know. Have a great day, and reach out if you would like some support with getting clients and being able to charge more for your services. I'll catch up with you soon.